Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to the dog talk portion of the show. I have a topic, and I know
Okay.
you have a topic too, but it's gonna intermingle.
Okay.
Um, See, I'm trying to make it because we talked about this earlier. So the
Okay.
American singer Zanquay.
Her name is Zonique.
Oh my God, Zonique. I'm so sorry. I'm like, yo, I was really trying to look this up all yesterday. Like I had it on Google Translate. So Zonique, the singer Zonique, has recently announced her pregnancy, and she released her baby photo. The photos was cute. I like the design. Um, and she did an interview with Hollywood Life, and she shared how she's not ready for marriage, and that for marriage is a big commitment, even bigger than having a baby. And I just want to know, like, do you feel like marriage is a bigger commitment than having a child? Because I feel like a child. Let me just say my opinion first. I'm gonna let you go. I feel like a child is something that you have to continuously take care of. Like that's a big commitment for probably the first 18 years and probably then some of their life. With a marriage, it's kind of different. Like, you're not taking care of nobody. Well, you are in a sense taking care of somebody, but you're not taking care of somebody. Like, you're not washing this person, you're not cleaning this person, you're not making sure this person has a roof over their head or feeding them and stuff like that. In some cases it's similar, but I think that having a child is definitely a bigger commitment.
Hmm. Well, I mean, it could be. I mean, depending on how people see parenthood versus marriage. And I think that when you are a parent, or especially, I guess women view parenthood differently than men because I mean they have a definitely a more intimate bond with the child. They care for 9 months. They're responsible for nourishing that seed and producing it out of their bodies. And I think that
Mm,
there's a great amount of love that goes with raising a child. And yes, it's a time commitment for 18 years and sharing with this being because you literally have the pressure of keeping them alive.
mm,
Like that's the charge.
yeah,
Like, damn, I got this human being that I'm bringing to the world that I have to keep alive for 18 years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and it does sound like it can be a lot of pressure, but I think that for her personal views of what marriage is, you have to think, she's the stepdaughter of T.I. and she's Tiny's daughter. But their marriage has gone through so much. And so for her, she may see like, being a single parent and being happy and just, raising my kid
Mm-hmm.
may prove to be less stressful than it is to have to commit yourself to another human being, another grown up that, independent, free thinking that you can't control. You don't know, there's no um being a wife is a lot different than being a mother. And I think maybe for her, she just feels like being committed to someone at her age. She's only 24.
Yeah.
She just may not be the space that she wants to be in right now.
Mm-hmm.
She may not even wanted to have been a mother at this point either, but she's pregnant, so it's like I'm gonna keep the baby, but I don't
Yeah.
have to get married.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah. You don't have to. Yeah.
yeah, personally, I at this point of my life, I just don't see me raising children by myself because I don't think I would need the help and the break and the extra the balance. I would have
Mm-hmm.
to have the balance. But
Yeah.
for her age, maybe not. Maybe she just,
Well, he'll be around. I mean, they're boyfriend and girlfriend, so he's going to
yeah,
be in the child's life. It's no. I mean, she's not raising this child alone. Um,
yeah.
I just
But
my thing is just if you're already boyfriend and girlfriend, you know, but marriage is a lot. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But let's kind of remember they got money. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
I'm not
so it's
saying that's
different.
that's
I feel
not the
like it's a
benefactor.
totally different situation.
Yeah, yeah, it's a totally different situation than when you're talking about like a regular person like you and I.
Well,
You
you can
guys
be
can
regular
get
and have
married, and maybe
money.
it's just like for her commitment, as in what, like, is it like you want to still go out and do stuff, date and I
It
don't
could be
know.
committing your finances, or it could be committing
Okay.
to building a future or building a vision, having the same vision for the future together. Like
Mhm.
it's like I said, being a wife is different than being a mother. When you're folding in another adult into your life, like it requires a lot of work. There's a lot of things that come into play and that are to be considered. Having a child, you just have to figure out the best way to raise it. You just have to
Mm.
figure out how to sustain it. But merging your life with another adult human being who's lived, who has their own idea of the future, like that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
I can tell.
and it reminds me of like a doll top topic that I posted. I think it was either today or yesterday, where we were talking about. I really wanted to check in with commitment and where people see like marriage and what the conditions and stuff
Ooh,
are.
good segue.
And I do this, okay? But the question I posed, and I'm gonna pull it up so I can read it, and so I don't mess it up, because I want to hear your idea on this too. I don't know if you saw it on my page. I was like, would you stay faithful to your spouse if they were sentenced to 40 years in prison, no parole, and no conjugal visitation? Why or why not?
No conjugal visitation. See, you add the shit on.
I want to know the conditions.
Because I can almost, because if I visit you every day, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm in there, but I can't visit you.
You got no job.
Oh, I mean, what's
every day for 40 years?
Ooh. Look, love is love. I really love that person. Look, however, he can't write to me.
I mean, you can write.
I can't call him. That's the like.
I didn't say you couldn't call. I just said they can't. They're not getting parole. They're not going to get parole, which means they're not going. They're not coming out, and no conjugal visits, which means y'all not going to have sex ever again for 40 years.
40 is basically life.
Might as well be. After 30.
Yeah, after 30, girl. See, I'm 20, so let me see.
Look, I still got.
I'm trying to add.
I'll be 50 when you come out, so we got 10 more years. No.
Yeah. Now that you think about it, no.
You wouldn't be able to do it if this is the person you marry. This is your love of your life.
Oh, person I married. Oh, if I'm married to this person,
this is a spouse. This is a spouse. Would you be stay faithful to your spouse? This is somebody you're married to them.
Okay, yeah, I have to stay. I gotta stay. That's my. That is my rock. That would be someone that I marry is my soulmate. Because I don't plan on marrying no more. So I probably would have to. I probably would stay. Now I talked to my mom about this many years. She'll say, "Nah, the judge broke us up." There's a lot of people that feel like that.
Somebody else posted that like the judge broke us up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What do you think?
What I think? I think I'm getting a divorce.
Ooh.
I think that you have a good year of me, visiting and putting stuff on your books and trying to keep you encouraged and, working with your lawyers to see if there's any other options. But after that year, we are going to have a discussion. Maybe within that year, we're going to start having discussions about how I can be a really, really supportive lifelong friend to you while I go on with my life. Because 40 years with
a lot.
Yeah. And I think I'm a person that would take my vows seriously too. Like the whole till death do us part, for better or for worse. I'm like, well, this is for worse. However, if you committed a crime that took you away from me for 40 years, you broke our vows. So I'm gonna have to let this go, and us gonna have to find something else.
So
that's just me.
For you, what about let's subtract a little bit. So let's take down 40. Let's say about maybe like 10 or 20. 30 at the 20 most. Years. 30 at the most.
30. First of all, you're doing anything more than 5 years, you're gonna have to catch me when you get out.
Oh no. If I'm married to someone that got 10 years, okay, we got this.
How?
It's only a decade.
It's only a decade of your marriage. A decade of no. Okay, maybe. Okay, you're young. You're younger than me, so your concept of time may be different. But let me tell you how a decade goes by really fast. It really does.
It does. Okay.
A decade goes by really fast when you're focused on yourself. When you're focused on building and growing yourself. When you're focused on your dreams and building towards your vision. 10 years can go by really, really, really slow when you are now tied down to someone that is not moving. That's a long time. Like it ages people. Have you seen some of these people that's been like that are quote unquote ride or dies? And like, oh yeah, my husband's been in jail for.
Well, hold on. What about Gucci Mane? Wasn't he in there for like
Are
a
you
good
cheating?
bit?
I'm just thinking about needs. I'm thinking about like the needs. Like, so you got to hold everything down financially by yourself. God forbid y'all got kids. And I think that changes that dynamic. Like if you have kids, you like, damn, I'm married and I don't want to, break up my marriage, but I I don't know. I'm a human. I'm a human being, and I have certain needs. And if I can't get it while you locked up in somebody's, um, you locked up behind bars. So that would have to be a discussion. Like, how am I gonna get my needs met while you in here?
And then I don't to think about like shoot when you in there, child, someone's gonna have to
You gonna get
someone's
somebody gonna
entertaining
get your
you,
needs met,
so you're gonna be
right?
somebody's wife. So I'm like, well,
Are you gonna find a wife in there or something? Like, there's gonna be some cheese clapping some kind of way, and
yeah.
I just
Oh, and you already know I got my superstition. I'm like, because I'm always think somebody trying to. Yeah, I don't know if I could do that more. I don't think I could do it for 30 years, but definitely maybe
see.
10.
No, you said
Maybe
that's your
10.
husband, that's your
Maybe
partner, that's your.
10.
You can't have no conjugal visits. I'm like, well, how you in there? I know you ain't finna just be in there jacking off for 30 years. Like, it just don't seem natural. But I don't know. I know for me, like reading some of the comments. These people had me cracking up.
We could read some of the comments. Hey, we haven't done that in a long time.
Right. So Keisha Johnson said, at this point, I'm 33. 40 years from now, we'll be 73. So hell no. But when he get out, he can look me up.
Okay.
Jessica Ladden said, I would end the relationship. That's not fair to even expect that of someone. In my opinion, I'm reading a book like this. It's called American Marriage. You should read it. So if anybody out there has read American Marriage, jump in our comments on our page and let us know, what your thought process is. I'm trying to see who else. Oh, Kendrick Ross says Papoose did it for Remy, but it wasn't 40 years.
Oh, yeah. That's what I said. 10 years. Look, 10 years. Look, I'm here. I'm still here. It's a whole
Sharon
bit.
Flechette Willis. It depends on what he did, but if he loved me, he would let me be. I wouldn't leave him hanging though. I would make sure he could buy some ramen and honey buns. And she a real one because I would need my honey buns. Like, just don't leave me get high and dry. That's why I said I would get a divorce, but like I would be your friend, forever. But we can't be in a marriage because we're not doing what married people do. We're not building a future together. You're standing still for 40 years. And no, it's like being married to a rock. What's the point? Travis Jenkins says, with the operative word of spouse, I would like to say I would stay faithful to our commitment. We got married. Oh, and now we getting divorced. We may be.
Damn, I thought I had one. I thought I had one person.
Right. He said, we may need to talk about things that may need to be allowed within our union, but I wouldn't just dub him. You, my spouse, that degree of relationship isn't some overnight cutesy BS. It's deep. So I'm like,
okay, all right, that's deep. We got to look into the history, okay, of marriage, and it is to death do us part.
I mean, that's if that's the vow you make.
Let's keep that same energy.
That's what y'all choose.
That's what you got to say aye to. You got to.
You don't have to say that. Your vows can be whatever. You can have control of your vows. You can make whatever promises to each other that you would like. But I told him, I said, I love this answer. I, for one, am filing for divorce as soon as the bars close. But we'll be good friends until I'm remarried to someone who can be an active life partner. But most of the people just like, yeah, no. I'm trying to see who else. Oh, Future says, I would be faithful to him because we would be getting divorced. Wait, what? How they gonna be faithful? These people are bugging me out. I'll be faithful to him because we would be getting a divorce. Because if you got 40 years in prison, you did something real bad. So time for me to exit stage left.
Oh,
yeah. So I guess the general consensus is no.
Yeah.
And you know what prompted this? I've been watching Space Force, and I know it sounds crazy. Steve Carell's character, he is a general in the Space Force, and his wife is in jail for 40 years. And, he gets excited for their conjugal visits, and she's trying to have a conversation with him about, him moving on and like saying that he should date. And he's like, I don't want to do that. Like, we're married. You're my person. And, I can't do that. And she's like, I'm going to be in here for 40 years. And I would like to have, I have needs, and I think we should have relationships with people that are, accessible to us. And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't even know what that means. And actually, so many ways she was trying to tell him, like, so I'm dating a security guard in here.
Yeah.
Cause he was like, how do you do that? Like, he's like, how would we have a relationship with people accessible? You're in an all women's prison. She's like, well, I'm not. He's like, you're not a lesbian. He's like, I'm not a lesbian, but I'm not 100% straight either. But I was just thinking, like, dang, if you were married to somebody and you already had like a life with them, and then they got locked up for 40 years, like,
Golly.
I'm sorry, but I gotta call them people so we can get these
30
papers signed.
is 30 is definitely too much. But if we subtract that down, I might. It depends on the number.
You would be with somebody for, okay, I'll knock it down to 10 years. 10 years? You would wait on somebody 10 years to come
I
out of
will wait
jail.
because that is what I waited for. That's what I
Sure,
waited
you
for
didn't
my
marry the
love.
wrong person. You couldn't have married somebody that was gonna stay free.
Well, but things when shit happens. I'm gonna be like, Paige, I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with this now.
Right. And I just pray to God that this don't come and bite me in the ass and that I end up getting locked up for 40 years and my
knock on wood
my
right
spouse
now.
decide to leave me. But actually I wouldn't be mad at them. I'd be like, yeah, let's go ahead and sign these papers because I know that you gonna find somebody and I'm probably gonna find somebody in here. So I'll see you
later
when I see you, right? But I don't know. I couldn't do it. Somebody that Kristen Carr, she's an influencer too. She was like, "Why are you even asking this? Is a comedy hour?" And I was like, "I'm trying to see how radical people are about their vows." And it kind of goes back to what Zonique says. Some people view marriage as a really big deal. It's a really huge commitment to tie yourself to someone, to make a promise that you're going to be with them no matter what, and that makes it unconditional. But I always tell people, like, unconditional love is an idea. It's an idea, but everything is conditional. Everything in life is conditional. Everything. And Kristen went on to say, people can't even stay faithful when they live in the same house and sleep in the same bed. Anyone saying yes to this is
buddy.
prospering.
Okay.
So I was like, well, she said, besides, the person on the inside thinking that this is possible and asking for their spouse to live that life is not only stupid, but selfish as fuck.
Yeah, because you're in a spot where you can't do nothing, you can't provide for nothing, you can't. I get that, but yeah, 30 years. Look,
I'm glad that you're that faithful that you would, you dedicated. That's cute.
I'm dedicated. You know what I'm saying?
Somebody gonna love that. They're like, oh, he a ride or die. Yes.
Who listening? Come on now.
He gonna hold you down.
I hold you down, okay?
He'll hold you down. But my thing is, if ain't no money coming out of it, then I ain't holding nothing. I'm holding your divorce papers.
Shit.
40 years? That's a lifetime. That's like raising a kid. By the time you got your kid will be middle-aged. Like past middle age by the time you got out of jail. Like you'll be a grandfather. You'll be close to being a grandparent. No, I'm good. It was so nice.
Right, I want to live. I want to be young and married, child.
I can't. Yeah, when you get out, call me. Like, yeah, when you get out, call me. But for as of right now,
now, I'm living my life. I mean, but like, because there are some conditions that happen, right? Like, okay, I know I'm going to be in jail. We could still be married. Why don't you can have a hall pass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard of shit like that.
Right.
So, it's just some fruit for thought. Ciao.
So anyway, that was it for my dog talk, just to see, where people's mind was when it came to commitment. But I wouldn't say I kind of agree with her. She said, do you feel like marriage is a bigger commitment than having a child? I think that they're both two different experiences. And it just depends on where your values lie and what you see to be more burdensome. It may seem to be more of a burden to be married and hinged to somebody than it is to actually be a supporter and a provider for them. Just sustaining a life when you already have a village around you. Like she could successfully be a single parent. Like you said, they have money. She comes from a very close-knit family. Like she could do this by herself if she wanted to. But being marriage means, okay, well, now it's like it's me and you. I have to make my own decisions with this person, and then it's like some people just don't have that in their spirit.
And that's definitely understandable. You do not have to get married because you have a child. That's one thing that was taught to me by my mom. She was like, "Look, don't get married because y'all have a child, because most of the time it doesn't work, and it's like you guys are forced to be together almost because I got a child. I don't want to be a single parent or whatever. Like, child, do you? You know what I'm saying? However, I do think that it's definitely much more a commitment having a child than a marriage. Okay, it's a lot more commitment. Okay, but to each his own. You know, I gotta throw in that because people are like, oh my god, like that's just my opinion. And I'm like, okay, to each his own. We are all what's the word? I'm always losing these words. We're entitled to our opinion, but we're not entitled to a fact. Okay. I'm just leaving. I guess I'll just leave it at that.
Well, and that's the tea.
All right. He said that's the tea. That was actually Doll Talk.